This is a short little introduction to EU4 that I'm making for a friend, but I'm sure anybody can just follow along. So here we are playing Portugal, because it has one of the easiest ways to get to the New World. I'll get over that in a bit, but to get started, let's see, down here you can change all of your different little modes, which we'll be using quite a bit. This is the trade mode, which most people have trouble with. I guess we'll get started with that. So this mentions that we have a merchant, and as you can see up here, shows we have two separate merchants. The other one is probably down here. Yep. So the part people get very confused about is usually how the trade gets pushed around and what that even means. So if you changed this, nope, we're already there. So in the trade mode, you see this is Sevilla, which is all trade goes to this one particular area. And if your capital is within this trade zone, you'll collect money from it automatically. Having a merchant there gives you a 10% bonus. Now notice the arrows. So as you can see, trade flows to Sevilla from, let's see, almost every direction but one, and it leaves to the north here. So you can only push trade, if you notice here, to the north, which we wouldn't want to do because that would take money out of our sphere of influence. So if we go down here, so let's say, as you can notice, he is pushing trade to the north here. But let's find a trade zone with a few different places. So if we were to transfer trade power, so we can take one of our guys. Alright. So now we have a merchant here, and as you note, these two little checkboxes. This allows us to redirect trade, in particular money from trade, to different trade nodes. So if we wanted, we could click the check mark here, chink, and this tells us we are now pushing money that comes into Tunis along this trade route here, back to our capital trade route to give us more money. Now, I think this one was more profitable, but in the end it doesn't really matter because it's just a little tutorial. But the whole idea is that you want to try to push as much money as possible towards your capital area. This isn't very important right now at the beginning of the game, but later on, when you've discovered the New World, you'll want to be pushing money up from Africa, or from the Caribbean, or from the Americas, back towards your capital here. And you might have to go through several trade routes, which is what the whole point of the merchants is that you can sort of chain link them and keep pushing money along trade route after trade route after trade route to get it back to the beginning here. Let's see, moving on. Basic stuff. So we have a feudal monarchy here. Let's turn it back to political. So, Portugal, we have a feudal monarchy. This tells us every month we get 3 more administration. Bam! We get 2 diplomatic, and we get 2 from the military. Plus there are several bonuses that we get. So as you see, the base value is always 3, and we get a 3 extra due to our king's skill. And different kings will give different skills. If you notice, we have only 2 here because we have extra leaders. We'll get into that a little later. But here's so this is your basic government overview. If you want to change your government type, you can do that. Though most of them require, as you can see, 100 administrative power, and some of them require extra technologies before you can get to them. So, moving along, diplomacy. As a monarchy, we want to have the most stable government possible, which means we need to marry off some of our family members to create a better chance for an heir and make other people happy. So Castile is our neighbor, and we kind of like him. So one of the things you'd want to do is click on dynastic actions, and ding, royal marriage. As you can see, it increases our legitimacy, which is basically your right to the throne, and any chance of a new heir as well. And we can do this for Aragon, and well, they don't like me right now. Oh, we're out of diplomats. Okay. And we can see if any... Oh, England's not happy with us. Probably because we didn't join in their little war that they're going to lose. But anyway, so if you'll notice, you have a maximum here. Right there, where it says 2 out of 4 diplomatic relations. So I could have, say, 4 total marriages around in order to solidify my claim to the throne. And it also makes them more likely to get into alliances and things like that with you as well. But so that's just the generic overview. Another common thing you'll use here is to improve relations, to make people happier with you. Usually you'll want 1 or 2 always doing something similar to that, just to make your allies less likely to attack you, or more likely to get an alliance if that's what you're looking for. Moving along, the economy. It's how much money you get from trade, production, blah blah blah. We'll go over that a bit later. We are currently building a colony, as you can see. Where is it? Right here. And our colony here, it's about halfway done. We get 45 colonists per year, and as you can see how that is calculated right there. And since we don't have any real colonists, which you see up there, there's no bonus to get extra settlers, so this is going to take a little while. And down here you see the natives, none, so you're just colonizing an empty bunch of rocks. Let's see. This is our trade, which we really don't need to worry about too much. I'll get a bit more, but these are your percentages, how much money you're steering, how much extra bonus income you get, your mercantilism, makes your trade power higher, and your efficiency. I'll get into that a bit later. Technology is you buy with these numbers up here for each one. So this bar tells you how close you are to filling it out, and as you can see, it costs 564 power, and I have 90 available, so I won't be getting that anytime soon. Let's see, ideas. You'll be getting here shortly. Missions, decisions, they're fairly easy to just mouse over them, and they'll give you a brief idea of what you really need to do. Stability is very important. You'll find this stability thing right here. As you can see, this is what tells you what it does each level. Negatives numbers make it much more likely that your provinces will rebel, though it's very unlikely for your home provinces to rebel, even at -3. And all the bonus ones make it much less likely. Plus it also gives you bonuses to trade and income and taxes and all that other fun stuff. Overextension is what happens when you conquer a land. So if I were to conquer one of these, and it's not a core province, as you can see here, core province. So if I were to conquer a new space here, this little button would light up to try to make it a core, which will cost both money and administrative power in order to turn it into a core colony, or a core member of your nation. And that's a very actually important thing to do, because it gives you a negative to your stability, or your overextension here, which reduces all sorts of horrible things, makes your trade power lower, makes all sorts of things worse. So you definitely want to get rid of overextension as much as possible. These little numbers are for your colonial expansion. This is the range from your nearest core nation. So that's another reason why you want to turn things core as much as possible. And how you do that is you go down here and see, this is where it says colonial map mode. So this tells me I could colonize this once I have some colonists, but I couldn't colonize this. This is too far away. And now in the future, when we're, say, if I were to colonize this one and then make it a core, so you see the little core thing, if you make it a core, you will be able to extend your range further and further. So let's get a little ahead of ourselves. Religion is, you won't have to worry too much about this, but pretty soon the Reformation will start, and there'll be Protestants and Reformed Church and all sorts of other ones popping up. Suddenly Christianity will be having a bit of an issue, so you'll have to start messing around with some of your missionaries and stuff like that, but nothing to worry about at the start. And here's our military. Right here is where we see what units we have. We always have one type of foot unit, one type of mounted, and one type of cannon. And then one type of each of the ships. Cogs down here are the transport ships. Galleys are what you use in the inner sea areas, which as Portugal, we're probably never going to use any. These are your trade ships, which I'll get to in a bit. And these are your basic ships of the line, which we'll use for naval combat. So, and here we have our leaders. So as you can see, our king is leader, which you almost never want to use. We have 3 explorers and 1 general. The explorers are rather important because we can use them to scout around. So if I take this one guy here, and where'd he go? So we're going to take one of our explorers here and attach it to him. Now the explorers cost military power. So as you notice, we have 4 out of 1 free. So we're losing 3 military power every month, which is not so good, but whatever. So we can take our little explorer, make sure you have the explorer here, and we'll set him to go exploring. Now, explorers and conquistadors are the only ones able to go into this no man's land, this unmapped area. I'll speed it up a little bit here. So, as you can see, by the way, these mountains are, or these islands are very important, as you will soon see. You'll notice here. So we have a bit of attrition going on. So if I were to chill out here for a month or so, you'll notice, and this will steadily increase as your time in open sea, in particular, increases. It'll be much less if you're closer to the ground, which will be in just a second here. Ta-da! South America. So, as just a little note in the future, as Portugal, you are in an excellent position to quickly colonize these islands here. And then, after that's done, and you turn it into a core province, you can then start to colonize the New World. Which makes Portugal a rather excellent little starting place. So, let's see. Going back. Now, trade ships. That pretty much covers all of the basic what you need to do to get started there. Let's go back to our nice little trade ships. Oh, actually advisors. So advisors give you bonuses, and they cost money, quite a bit of money. See, +1 ones cost 1, +2 cost double, cost 3 times as much. So you really don't want to be messing with them too much unless you have some money. So as you can see here, I'm already losing money, which that's no fun. But there's a few things we can do, mainly probably because I screwed with this trade node, but for now we're not going to have any advisors. Let's see. I think that's about all we need to do for there. Okay. So, getting started with our trade. So these are our trade ships. We can use them to keep pirates out, and pirates will appear if no one has looked through an area in a very long period of time. So we're going to say, here, increase our trade power at home. So let's look at our trade power, how that all works. So here we are, Portugal. So this one tells us that 90% of all the money that comes to our trade node is being kept in this spot, and 10% of it is being pushed away to this northern node. And here, 39% of the trade power is coming to us. So out of all the money that comes here, we get 39% of it to our coffers. It's coming in, getting directed straight here, where you can see 2.56 gold is coming straight to us. And the tariffs there are sort of, that's the resources you produce from a colony, such as here, sugar, and here, which naval supplies. So that stuff will be converted by tariffs and given as gold to us later on. But none of that's all that important at the moment. Just so you know that the money comes here, and your trade power determines what cut of it you get. So by putting our ships to go patrol, and only trade ships, mind you, as if you notice, they have a trade power of 3, so they increase, each one of these ships increase your trade power by 3 when they're doing their protecting our trade routes. So the higher your trade power is, the more cut of this money pie that you actually end up getting. And there are a few other modifiers for it, but really that's all you need to care about. Alright, on to provinces. Here's our province. We get tax money, which you'll get significantly less tax money from your colonies than you would from at home. Tariffs are from our, like I said before, our overseas territory. Production is what we produce of our trade, which is, let's see, our fish, and the total is how much money you're making. So an important part for trade is down here. So we see this is the trade power of the province. This is how much it donates to your total trade power. This is the trade value, which is how much money you're getting per year for selling your fish, and this is how much you get. So you're getting 100% of fish plus 4% more from your tax income. So in any case, so when you increase with any of these fun little things, which you'll get later on, that value will go up. So this is a good thing to keep an eye on because, for example, fish don't give you much money. Furs or sugar or whatever else, let's see. So you see our trade value here is 4.29. Sugar is vastly, if you notice the price, vastly more expensive than fish are. So you get much more money. So if you had a choice, would you rather increase production here and increase this a little bit, or would you rather increase your production here and get a much bigger bang for your buck? So that helps you to sort of figure out what, you know, with your limited amount of money, where should you put your bonuses to increase different buildings. As you can see, all your different buildings here you get eventually will give you, like, for example, that increases the amount of goods you produce, that increases your production efficiency, that gives you more goods produced, and trade value modifiers and all that fun stuff. So that'll let you know, where do you want to put your buildings. Okay, and I think that's really all you need for provinces. Here's where you make things. You probably saw that in the tutorial. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, good. Let's see. Moving on to building your very first. So we're going to speed up time to the maximum here and let a few years go by. Or maybe I don't really even care about this. I could cheat our way through. Oh, this is going to take a while. Okay, cheating our way through just to make this faster. So, using a cheat code, I added a ton of power just to give you a quick view of how this really works. So, ideas are what we're looking at. So ideas are vitally important to getting things rolling for our colonization efforts. So you unlock one at every several levels of administrative, and it tells you the levels here. So, taking our first one, if we are going to find and explore, we need the exploration idea, which is this one right here. So, we have, now these cost a power based on where they were. So the ones in the middle are diplomatic, the ones that were on the left are administrative, and the ones on the right are military. So in this case, we want, it'll tell you right here, for 400 diplomatic power, we can unlock the first idea. Each one of these unlocks something different, and then when you unlock them all, you get this last one right here. So we start with colonists. So this gives us +1 colonist. Huzzah. So now, with R, let's switch to colonial map mode. So as you can see, this is green. Now that we have a colonist, we can send them here and start to colonize the islands. I'm going to let time continue for this. Our next one here is the quest for the New World. This is important because it allows us to get explorers and conquistadors. Now if you noticed, we already had some explorers to start with. I think Portugal always gets some of the other ones might as well. But we also need conquistadors in order to discover new land. So let's go, and here's how you get a conquistador. So let's get rid of some of these guys. We're not going to be using them very much. And go down here, conquistador, costs 50 military power. So now we have this fella here. So we're going to take a few ships, or a few people. We'll say 4. And go to the leader and make him conquistador. Now he can go into this gray area on the land. Let's go back to map mode. You can go into the gray area on the land here, the unexplored areas. Now with your ships, especially if you have a decent navigation, they'll see some of these coastal areas, but you really want these guys to explore a little farther. So, and let's see if we have any cogs. Cogs are our transport ships, and we do. So we're going to take all of these cogs, you can see up here, 0, and make just some cogs. And you go up here, this little button, which is rather hidden, I don't understand why, but you attach it to the transport, and notice the little ship icon. Now if you go to your cogs, they will automatically load on your ship. So we're going to bring them all the way down here. And now they can start searching through the heathen lands and the jungles. And if you click on it, you'll notice when you're going to conquer your new lands, take a close look at this tax modifier. So this is the potential maximum taxes that you can pull out of this. Notice this one has a 3, a 4, 2, and a 5. So this is the most profitable one to start with. And as you're exploring around, you'll find different ones. This was 3. So you could start, for example, here, and this is the smartest thing for Portugal to do, is to finish colonizing up here. Notice the slow and steady rate. And then start over here, and then you can quickly jump your way over to the Caribbean. I think that is about all you'll need to start with. There are... Okay, so... yeah, that's about it. So in the future, through technology, you'll eventually get new units, which you'll click on here, and then you'll be able to switch to any of the newer units that are more powerful than the last ones. And I think that's about everything for a quick starter guide. Alright,